All right. Welcome to the first ever episode of the Sustainable Intentions podcast. Real people with real ideas. My name is Alan Reed, and I am your host. And I am actually the only one here today. I wanted to have this first episode as just me talking and vibing with you guys and letting you guys know what I'm all about, what inspired me to bring you guys this podcast, what kind of things to expect, and just, yeah, about me and my life and my dreams. So, here we go. Like I said, my name is Alan Reed. I am a permaculture and sustainability consultant. I am a traveler of the world. I would love nothing more than to see more people get out and follow their dreams because I know that ever since I really started going for mine, things have just been falling into place. And I'm not a believer that everything's just always going to work smooth and go easy. I worked really hard my whole life, and I know how that goes. I know what it's like to work 12-hour days, 7 days a week. I've done that for 50, 60 days straight before. But that's not what life's all about. The money is not what life's all about. It's nice, don't get me wrong, I like it. And I wish I had more of it. In fact, you guys can feel free to check out my Patreon account and send a little bit of money this way so I can continue to be doing all this stuff. So let's see, right now I'm in Bali. It's amazing here. It is completely lovely. I have a villa that's about 15 minutes outside of the center of Ubud, which is a town that's about an hour north of Denpasar, where you would fly into if you came to Bali. For those of you guys not familiar with Bali, it is a phenomenal island in the country of Indonesia. And it is also off of that Eat, Love, and Pray, or Pray, Love, and Eat. I don't know, that movie that all the girls love so much. There's a special feel here. There's something beautiful here because I guess the culture, it's a very devout Hindu culture. And the people here, they do offerings and they do, bhakti yoga, which is uh, showing devotion all day long. There's always a ceremony going on. There's always a festival going on. There's always, beautiful flowers and people burning incense. And the people here just seem very happy, and they have strong connections with the land. They have strong connections with their families. And I think that that's more important, in westernized civilization, we tend to uh, we tend to get disconnected. I think about my family. I grew up, it was me, my older brother Elliot, and my two parents. We had my aunt Lindy and her two kids lived close to us, and were part of our childhood. But all the grandparents and all the other cousins and everybody else lived in different states around the United States, so we never really saw them. Um, and it was just the four of us mainly. And my brother moved out when he was 16 years old, and I moved out when I was 17 years old. And then it was like me on my own, this individual thing. And I'm very proud of myself for all of the things that I've done as an individual. But at the same time, we lose connection. We lose connection with our family, where we come from. And I think that that's really important. Even traveling the world, there's some things about the way it works in the West that I don't agree with, but I've changed my view of a lot of it too. I really love where I come from. Texas is an amazing place. Houston is an amazing place. Representing H Town, it's awesome there. There's a lot of things I don't like. It's a concrete jungle. The traffic is bad, you know. There's pollution. It's hot. It's really hot. All the time it's hot. Um, but there's such a diverse culture and such a phenomenal amount of different types of people all living their life there and all working towards a better life, you know? Like Houston is a place that you can make something of yourself. Um, but it's also a place that you can get really caught up really fast in the grind, in the hustle. And that's a lot of the United States, and that's a lot of everywhere in the world. You know, I've traveled, I don't know, like 18 or 20 different countries, and I see it everywhere I go. And, I try and shy away from big cities now because, because big cities are where that hustle and bustle is the hardest, is the deepest, and it's where people have a lot less time for each other. I think that community is really, really important, and the more we make time for each other, and the more we check to see how everybody else is doing, and the more courteous we are to each other, even if we don't know the person, it's really, really important. It's really, really important for the benefit of humanity in general. We tend to think that it's a rat race, everybody for themselves, you know? Like, why am I going to help somebody else out? I got my own bills to pay, I got mouths to feed, I have, my own interests and my own problems, and I don't have time for everybody else's shit. Well, I understand that point of view, and I've had that point of view before. But the more compassion that we have for other people, the more beautiful of a place this world becomes. And the trick is, I'll let you in on this little secret. The trick is not to have expectation of the outcome of your compassion for somebody else. When you do something nice for somebody else, just do something nice. They might not even know. You hold the door open for somebody that's on their cell phone walking fast, and they don't say thank you. That used to piss me off, and I'm sure it still pisses you guys off. So, you let somebody in traffic, you wave them in to go in front of you in traffic. They go in front of you in traffic and they don't give that little wave back to you. Man, that can really it's like I tried to do something nice and that person's still a dick. Well, that person has their own drama going on inside their own mind, and by you letting that affect you, it's your decision. So learning how to do things for yourself or to do things for other people, but they're really for yourself. I like to say that compassion is actually a selfish act. Because when you show compassion to other people, and when you realize that even if that person doesn't appreciate it, you still did something good and you feel good inside for it, that's an amazing feeling. So when I give compassion out, without conditions to people, it's a bit of a selfish act because I know how good I'm going to feel about it. And when I even start to get a little bit frustrated, and then after that, I'm like, no, you know what? That person's got their own thing going on. I don't know anything about it, man. Their kid might be sick. Their husband might have cheated on them. Whatever. Then I feel even better about myself for taking that higher ground and being like, hey, it's not all about me. So yeah, that's a little bit for the compassion thing. I worked on oil rigs for 4 years, maybe 4.5, about 4 years. I did inspections, so it was rope access and it was non-destructive testing. So I would literally harness up, attach myself to ropes, and rappel down inside of big tanks and big steel columns, legs of oil rigs, and do all kinds of testing, ultrasounds and magnetic particle testing and all of this other stuff. And it was a bit exciting at first. I mean, some of jobs were really dirty and really grungy, and you'd be crawling around in tiny enclosed spaces, chipping rust off of old steel so that you could take a reading to see if how much corrosion there was. You'd come out dirty and sweaty and dehydrated. A lot of those tank jobs, I could drink like 3 gallons of water in a day, and I would only have to go pee one time in the day. That's how much I would sweat out. But swinging around from ropes was pretty intense. It was a cool thing. The problem is that it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't a sustainable job. I saw all these people that worked on these oil rigs that were miserable, man, and I started getting miserable. And I've seen it in all kinds of construction jobs and hard work jobs, with plumbers and electricians and all this other stuff. There's an element to your work that it's amazing because you're creating something, you're building something, and you can step back and you can look at it and be like, I did that, that was me, But at the same time, this hard work and this pressure, it starts to eat away at us. I did 4 years. I would be gone sometimes for 2 months. 2 months straight, I would spend 12 hours a day working, right, every single day. And when I got off of work, I would either work out or watch a movie or then go to sleep. And that's it, right? And that was my routine day after day after day. And, then I'd get off this oil rig and I'd have a whole bunch of money, and I wouldn't know when I was going back out because I didn't have a set schedule. We were third party. So we would take a contract, work until that contract was done, and then hope that you had, a week off before the boss was calling you again to go out on another contract. And in that week, man, I would party. Like, I would party hard. I would come home and, it'd be a Tuesday morning, after I got home. And everybody else that I knew would be at work. So, I'd go out. I'd, go out to a restaurant or to somewhere. I'd get some drinks. I'd have some food. I'd, do whatever. I'd go to the happy hour, and then I'd be calling all my friends when I thought they were getting off work and be like, meet me up. And there'd always be that excuse like, no, I got to work tomorrow. I got to do this, or, I got no money, whatever. And so I would be like, no worries, come out, I'm paying. Like, I don't care. I got a pocket full of money, and I want somebody to hang out with. I want somebody to drink with. I want somebody to party with. And it would be like that. And I'd go like a week straight, getting off this rig and just party, go out every single night, invite my friends out every single night, have barbecues at the house, have whatever I could do to get some social interaction, because I would have been so lonely out on these rigs. And that's not sustainable, man. You work 2 months straight, 12 hours a day, and then you get off of this rig and you party for like a week or two straight, just drinking and whatever else, we don't need to go into that stuff. And yeah, so we have to learn at a certain point, like, do I want to be one of these old guys out on the rigs that's 50 years old and still working 12-hour days, that hates his life and is always grumpy and is always yelling at everybody that he meets and is on his 5th wife and has kids with all of them and is paying all this child support and paying for college for all of them and still gets home and doesn't have any money for himself? Or goes home and binge drinks or goes out and, looking for hookers and all kinds of other random stuff? Like, no, I don't want to be one of those guys. So what do I need to change my life so that I'm not going to be one of those guys? And not everybody ends up like that. I've met some people that played it really smart, took the jobs that they took, did the studying that they needed to do, invested well, and are retiring at late 40s, 50 years old, and living in beautiful places and are happily married, but those guys are actually far and few between for that industry. So what do we need to do to be more sustainable? We need to do something that we enjoy, something that when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, yeah, man, let's get on it. I've been making this website for sustainable intentions, and like, we're in Bali. It's a beautiful place, and I can go out on a little moped and drive these awesome streets and see jungle and rice fields, and go out to amazing restaurants where I eat an awesome meal for like $3, Um, and I want to spend my time on this computer building this website because I am so into it. Kelly is even like, come on, let's go out, let's go do something. Let's say, oh, let me just finish this little bit, let me just do this. And it's not because of a deadline, it's not because I have to get it to you guys at a certain point. It's because it's something that I really enjoy doing, something that I want to do. So find something like that, man. The sustainability thing has been a passion of mine. I always wanted to change the world. When I was 15, 16, 17, I was listening to punk rock and grunge rock and fight the system, fight the power. Like, we're gonna stand up. We're not gonna take it. We're gonna make something. We're gonna do something. But I think that the whole violent revolution is ridiculous, because look at every single violent revolution that we've ever had. What's happened? The power changes. Maybe you get rid of somebody who's really, really bad. The power changes, the power shifts, and sooner or later, it's basically the same shit again, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not, I'll take capitalism over communism, right? But I'm not saying that there aren't things about socialism that I don't completely agree with. I do. I agree with a lot of it. I agree with a lot of all of it. Like, I'm not one of those straight black and whites. Like, I can't just say, no, this is bullshit, that's bad, that's horrible, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I really believe that we need to be working together and mingling all these things together to find something. So anyways, 17, 18, I went off to college. I started drinking, I was smoking pot, I was doing all this other stuff. And I just kind of fell into this mold, because I wanted to change the world. That's something that I wanted to do. But it seemed so big. It seemed like really daunting. Something that was just unachievable. I'm just this one guy. I'm just this person here that's trying to take on this huge task. And maybe it's easier just to go out and have a beer with my friends and forget about the whole thing. And that turned into a way of life. Going and having a drink or smoking a joint or doing whatever else and just not worrying about all that. Oh, let's just have some fun. And trust me, I had a lot of fun. I'm not knocking it, because my late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, they were a blast. I met a lot of really cool people. I made a lot of really good music and a lot of really good art. And I enjoyed myself. I was down at the creek at the Greenbelt in Austin all the time, going out to all the bars, listening to the best music, every night live music, dollar beers, all kinds of, it was great. It was an amazing time. I knew all the door guys at all the clubs, so if I went out on a Saturday night and I wanted to take somebody out with me, I'd say, what's up, walk right past the line, go in, bartender would finish the drink he's making, come over, and fix my drink before everybody else in line. That was awesome. That was that VIP status. But what did it do for me? It spent all my money and kept me working, right? It's this vicious cycle to keep you in the system. I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know. You guys know all of this. You guys have been through all of this. I'm just, giving you the point of view from my life. So 2015 is when I said, fuck it, and flipped the counter over and was like, I'm out of here. And well, here, I'll tell you what really happened. I wanted to do a month off and go to Thailand, and I did. I scheduled a month off in November of 2014 to go to Thailand because I had always wanted to go there. And I flew over there and I got there, and I think a few days into my trip in Thailand, I met all of these young people that were traveling, and they were traveling. Some of them were traveling they didn't know how long they were going to be gone for. And I was like, whoa, are you kidding? Like, I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to just pack a bag and go and not care, just do what I wanted to do, live my own life, see what happens. What's the worst that happens? I go broke, I have to go home, I have to get another job. Yeah, that's whatever. I've had 100 jobs. Like, I can get a job. If I need to work, I'll go stand on the corner outside of Home Depot and somebody will pick me up and I'll mow lawns if I have to. I'm not afraid of that. So I saw what these people were doing and I was like, man, I'm in. I'm doing it. And I remember it was about a week after I had got there that I was sending an email to my boss saying, hey, Wayne, I'm really sorry, and I understand if you're mad, but I'm extending my stay here in Thailand, and so I'm not coming back in the middle of December. I'm actually not coming back until the end of January, so I turned a 1-month trip into like a 2.5, 3-month trip. And I didn't hear from him for like a week or two, I remember, and then I just got a message, like an email, and it was short. It just said, "You're not fired." I think that's all that the email said. So I did Thailand, and I went down and I got my open water diving certificate in Koh Tao, and I partied and went to all of these amazing places, the islands, and up north to the little hippie villages and stuff. And I went to Cambodia and saw Angkor Wat and went down to a place called Otras Beach. And it was just so chill, that like kick it beach vibe, like wake up, smoke a joint, have a beer, do what you want type of place, go for a swim, whatever. And so I stayed there for like 3 or 4 weeks, all over. Anyways, I had this plan. I'm gonna go back to the United States. I'm gonna go offshore. I'm gonna work for like 6 months. I'm gonna save up like 6 months working offshore. If I really apply myself, I could make a good $40,000-$50,000, and then I'm just gonna travel. I'm gonna have this money. I'm gonna be able to do whatever I want. I went back, I went offshore, and I think maybe 1 month into working, or 1.5 months into working, I was already sending Wayne another email. I was offshore on this rig, sending him my 2 weeks notice saying, look, I'll finish his job if you want me to. It'll be more than 2 weeks, but I'm done after this. I can't do it. Like, I was going to stay longer, but my head is in the clouds now, man. I got that travel bug, and I just can't come back to a job that's not serving me, that's not fulfilling what I need to do for myself in my life. So I left. I bought a one-way ticket to Panama City because it was the cheapest flight that I could find from Houston to Central America. And that's all I knew. I knew I had a buddy, Sam, this Australian guy I'd met in Thailand. He had come through the United States. We went out to South by Southwest together. I dropped him off at the airport. He was down in Panama as well. So all I knew was I had a one-way ticket to Panama. I had a bag with some clothes and stuff in it. And that Sam was down there and he was down to meet up. And that's what I did. And I traveled all through Panama with Sam. And a friend of his came from Australia, met up with us. And then Sam had to leave. He took a sailboat with some Kiwis to Fiji or something. I don't know where they sailed to. And so me and his friend Bridget traveled through Costa Rica and into Nicaragua, and then Bridget had to leave to go to Canada, and I met this dude Chris from California, surfer guy, and we worked at a surf camp together. We were spending all of our days with our feet in the sand, or practicing surfing, or doing whatever. And it went on and on like that. Like, it was just one thing after another. I did my dive master's license in Honduras, where I lived for 2.5 months on an island called Utila off the coast of Honduras. and just lived, man. You know, every morning I was on a boat going diving on a beautiful coral reef. You know, none of this stuff was that expensive. Like that's one of the things I want to get across to you. Like when I left the United States, I think I had like 12 grand, which is a decent amount of money, but I made it like, I think I want to say like 2 years almost before I got another actual job. 2 years, right? Yeah, I volunteered at some places in exchange for accommodation and food. But what I'm saying is when I was working on the oil rigs, you know, I could make 60, 70, $80,000 in a year, and at the end of the year I wouldn't have much to show for it. Oh, sure, I bought a truck, or you know, I invested a little bit of money. I put a little bit of money away, but like out of 70 grand, I saved like 5 grand, you know? And then I turned around after spending, you know, $65,000 in a year just on rent and going out. And then I made 12 grand last me like almost 2 years. And it's just a way of life, you know, it's how you want to live. It's what you want to do. It's when you really get that idea in your head that you can do something, you can do it. Like I know from personal experience that you can do it. So I want to inspire more people to do that. That's what this whole podcast is about, you know, like teaching people to take a step outside of the box. I know a lot of you guys have that argument of mortgage and or kids. Kids is that big one, you know, and I don't know from my personal experience about how that works because I don't have any kids, but I met people out here doing it with kids. Like I've met people out here traveling with little babies up to, you know, teenagers. I've met people that have sailboats that are sailing the world that they're not rich, they're not loaded, you know. I mean, they didn't, you know, come from millionaire mommy and daddies. They worked for a certain amount of time and they're making their dreams happen. So all of this stuff is possible. You know, you need to figure out what you want to do. And I knew I wanted to travel, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like this permaculture and sustainability thing was all cool to me. I liked farming, I liked gardening, I liked being out in nature, but I didn't know that's what I wanted to do. And it hit me while I was traveling, like when I was going to these little eco communities and these resorts and stuff like that were doing all the gardening. It's like, man, this is what I want to do, and I want to start a healing center where, you know, I have a farm, permaculture farm. I'm using sustainability and permaculture to grow amazing food that we feed the people that are there, the workers, the family, the community, and people who are coming for retreats. Um, and you know, we do yoga, we do exercise, we do therapy, we do, you know, camping and hiking, and you know, I want to buy a piece of land on the side of a mountain so I can even put in mountain bike trails going down. You know, this is a big dream, and it's probably going to cost quite a bit of money. Not as much as you would think because of the places that I'm looking, you know. I look in South America, Ecuador, Peru, look in southern Mexico. You can buy land, own land for not too expensive there. Um, but it's still going to cost a lot, and that doesn't stop me from believing, not just believing, knowing in the depths of my heart that that's going to happen, but at the same time not having the attachment to the outcome. I don't have this set time, I have to do it by this point in time, or give up on it or whatever. It's like I am not even 100% sure how I'm going to come up with all of the money to start it, or who's going to invest in it, or where it's going to be just yet. These are good things to know. The more you know about this, the easier it is for those dreams to come true. The easier it is to get that pinpoint focus on exactly what you want to do. But I'm not 100% there yet. What I know is that I'm enjoying my life where I am right now. You know, I'm enjoying this podcast. I don't even know if you guys are going to listen to this shit. I just know that I'm having fun talking about my life and all of the things that I've done and the things that I want to do. And if you guys are enjoying it, cool. Listen to some other shit. We're going to talk to some other amazing people that are doing all kinds of other awesome things. I'm going to get Kelly on here for the next one. She's amazing. She is an inspiration. She gives me so much support and love. I can't help but smile when I think about it. And she is all for this sustainable intentions thing. She's a part of it, you know, like right now she has her yoga business that we're working on and we're building together. And because we're building that and it's now, you know, paying off, then now I have the time and opportunity to be doing this stuff and not have to be worried so much about, you know, making money right off the bat. Because when that money thing comes involved right away, it puts a spin on everything. You know, like if my intention with this podcast was to pay my bills, it would be a lot of pressure, right? I'm not looking for that pressure. I'm looking for fun. I'm looking for honesty. I'm looking for truth. I'm looking to vibe with people. I want people to listen and be like, hey man, I like what this dude's talking about. I want to listen to him some more. Yeah, so I don't know exactly what I've been rambling on about for this last 30 minutes. I want you guys to follow your dreams. I want you to start a plan right now, you know, just an idea. Get yourself focused. What do you want, right? What is it that you really want to do? What did you want to do when you were young, right? Because what I learned is that changing the world is not this big task, this big daunting weight on your shoulders task. Changing the world starts with changing your perspective of the world, right? Because it's all really about awareness and perspective in the end. And if you really want something and you really believe in something, then go for it, right? Do what you want to do, follow your dream, even if it's a little bit at a time, taking those baby steps, right? The path is long. There's a lot of steps on that path. We all trip and stumble. Sometimes we roll all the way down the fucking hill to the bottom and start over. But as long as you know that getting to the top of that mountain is the path that you want to take, then you know what you have to do. And maybe to that peak, to that end point, there might be paths on all ends of the mountain. And you might stumble down one so many times, you're like, you know what? I need to find a different route to get to the top because this one's not working for me. But you got to know where it is you want to go, what it is you want to do. I know what I want to do. I want to live free. I want to help people. I want to see so many of my friends and my family and people I've never even met doing something that they love, feeling happy, feeling passionate, feeling free, feeling empowered, feeling strong, being, 100% in love with themselves. That's what I want to see. And I know that the more people that do that, the better the world's going to be. Because when you do what you love and you follow your dreams, then you want to see other people do it too. Like you realize that it's possible. And once you realize it's possible, it's like, damn, everybody should be doing this. Like, why is everybody not doing this? Like, what do I need to do to convince everybody else that they should be doing what they love? And I guess that's where I'm at right now. Right? That's what I'm rambling on about. Is that I want you guys to do what you love. And I think I'm going to cut it off there. I think 35 minutes is good for first ramble into this microphone. Thank you guys for listening. And I love you all, no matter who you are or where you are or what you're doing. I just want you to be happy. Take it easy, guys.